Before the shutdown, one of the most common answers to the question of how are you was, yo, I'm really busy. Very often we feel real restraints on time. I mean, let's just be honest. Most of us aren't walking around with extra time wondering what we're going to do with it, except for like right now. Usually we feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that is jammed into our busy schedules. And if we're not careful, our busyness can box us in from what is more important. Jesus' close friends, Mary and Martha, both had the same amount of time, but chose to spend it in very different ways. Let's read together in Luke chapter 10, verse 38 to 42. It says this: As Jesus and his disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed them into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he had taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, "Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me." But the Lord said to her, "My dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these little details. There's only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her." Now, at first glance, it looks like Martha is one who really understands what's important in life. Martha opens up her home to Jesus. She cares so much about him and his followers that she prepares a meal that's all good, but Martha's busyness causes her to miss out on the better things that Mary is a part of with Jesus and his disciples. It seems confusing at first. Martha gets reprimanded for serving Jesus, but that's exactly what makes the story so powerful. Jesus is saying that sometimes we have to learn how to say no to good things to focus on what's most important. If we can grasp the limitations of time, we may choose to prioritize differently, and if we don't purposely choose how we spend it, those choices will be made for us. Now, while you might be stuck at home in a forced time of Sabbath and rest, it is the best time to really unpack how you have been boxed in and trapped by your constant busyness. And so here's the question: what better things might God be leading you to be starting right now? What's something that you might need to stop doing when you get back from our Sabbath and forced holiday and start doing in order so that you can start doing the better things? How can we break the box of busyness?